Welcome back to the 247 Sports YouTube channel. I'm Steve Wiltfong, and you're here to watch another one of America's best high school football players announce their college commitment. Tonight we have top 247 quarterback Prentice Air Noland out of Fairburn, Georgia, Langston Hughes High. Tabbed by 247 Sports is the nation's number 7 quarterback and number 55 prospect overall. Noland has strongly considered opportunities from Alabama, Clemson, Miami, Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas A&M before arriving at this point. And it's easy to see why Noland was so coveted by these programs. As a junior, he threw for 4,095 yards and 55 touchdowns, leading his team to a 15-0 record, capped off by a state championship. Let's go out to the Peach State and welcome in Air Noland. Air, congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, introduce us to the folks sitting next to you.
To the left of me is my mom, and then to the right of me is my dad.
Gotcha. How important a part have they played in your process here?
They guided and instructed me, through this whole process, and I couldn't thank them enough. They've been with me through the ups and downs, through the trials and tribulations. So, I thank my mom and my dad each and every day.
Yep. You were able to visit your finalists multiple times. What were the important factors you were looking for in a school?
Really just accountability, of course. Getting to know the coaching staff, the resources around was very important, and just making sure I'm in a win-win situation on and off the field. Comfortable not only just for me, but for the people to the left and right of me. So it was a thought-out process, and can't wait to put this hat on.
Yeah, well, here you go. The floor is yours to let people know where you're going and to put that hat on.
All right. First and foremost, I want to thank God for giving me the strength, knowledge, ability, and opportunity to excel on and off the field. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. I want to thank my family and my support system for being here with me through the ups and downs, being here with me through every step of the way. I want to thank my coaches and teammates for pushing me on and off the field each and every day. I wouldn't be the football player I am today and the man I am today without those guys. Last, I want to thank my mom and dad for guiding me and structuring me through this process, for being here with me through the ups and downs, and just for raising me to be the great young man I am today. And with that being said, I will be committed to the Ohio State University.
Air Noland commits to Ohio State. Commit number 9 for Ryan Day and the Buckeyes in the 2024 class. Air, how many people are there watching you commit to the Buckeyes right now?
Say it again.
How many people are there right now sharing this moment with you?
Oh, man. A lot of people, man. A lot of people.
Air, you had so many great opportunities in the end. What was it that made Ohio State your college destination?
Of course, Coach Ron Day, Coach Dennis, and Coach Harline, the three-headed snake at Ohio State, speaks for itself. They develop quarterbacks, black quarterbacks into NFL type of caliber quarterbacks, the quarterback-oriented offense that they have. And of course, Jelani's up there. So, I have a teammate of mine up there, of course, but, the people around Ohio State, they're very welcoming. They couldn't, do what they did for me, and I want to thank them, and I can't wait to go Buckeyes.
In your opinion, you were up there this past weekend, and what did you see that shows you why Coach Day, Coach Dennis, Coach Hartline have been so successful developing that quarterback position and putting their offense in position to be one of the most high-powered units in college football?
I saw, the teammates pushing each other. Everybody has one goal at Ohio State, and that's to, make it to the next level. And Coach Day, preaches that to his kids at Ohio State. It's a brotherhood. They're a family. They're all one, and they're all one on and off the field. So that plays a big role.
Air, I know you told me that you're going to try and help recruit the #1 class in the country. You're officially in the fold for the Buckeyes right now. It's been a big week with top 247 running back James Peoples, 5-star receiver Mylan Graham also committing recently. Who are you working on to get to join the fold with you moving forward?
First I'm gonna come for that O-line. I got to get the right O-line around me. Receivers, that speaks for itself. But I'm gonna recruit that O-line. Then I'm gonna get the other side of the ball right, which is the defensive side. So we're gonna be balanced on both sides, and I'm gonna bring in as much talent as possible. Get the #1 recruiting class in 2024.
Last thing from us before we let you go celebrate with that big room of people. Was there anything else about Ohio State that separated them from the other schools you were deciding on?
Yeah, me and Coach Dave, connection. He had to talk about mental health and whatnot, outside of football. That kind of stuck out to me. Me and my mom was in that room. He was just talking about things outside of football. I saw a great connection with me and him, and then also with Coach Dennis. He's been recruiting me for a minute. He's from the Atlanta area, played ball at Georgia Tech. So, Coach Dennis did a great job. And then, Coach Hartline, he's also a wide receiver coach. He's done it at the next level, which is the NFL. And, it's good to have a great relationship with all three of those guys.
Well, that's Air Noland. He's the latest to commit to Ohio State, top 247 state champion quarterback from the state of Georgia, now part of a Buckeyes class that's ranked #4 nationally. To help break it down, let's bring in my colleague, 247 Sports Director of Scouting, Andrew Ivins. Andrew, joining us from the Sunshine State. You've seen Air Noland live. What do you love about this young man, and what is Ohio State getting?
Well, the first thing is that release, right? He's got one of the fastest releases here in the 2024 cycle. And he's also thrown more passes than any of these quarterbacks. We're talking about a guy that's thrown for over 8,000 yards on Friday nights. He's got a 28-3 record. That's one of the best we have uncovered here for the class of 2024. So Ohio State's getting a winner, Steve. And Mark Pantoni, the general manager there in Columbus, he was on my podcast, the 247 Sports Football Recruiting Podcast, and we talked to him about quarterbacks. And he said one of the big things they look for, the #1 indicator, is guys that can get the job done when the bullets are flying, lead their teams to victory. I think Air Noland is just that. And really, it's between the ears. I mean, if you've spent any time around this kid, he's different. He's wired different. Studies Tua Tagovailoa, studies Steve Young, told me Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers are two of his favorite quarterbacks. So I think Ohio State is getting one of the top quarterbacks here. And really, this is a guy that's going to allow them to get the most out of all that skill talent around. You talked about it, Mylan Graham, James Peoples. What about what they did in the 2023 cycle at wide receiver with Carnell Tate, Bryson Rodgers, Brandon Ennis, all those guys. So love this pickup, love the fit for Ohio State.
Yeah, I talked to Langston Hughes head coach Daniel Williams recently, and he said that Air Noland practices championship behavior every day. There isn't a day he takes off as far as leadership. Our team runs. He leads from the front. He never needs to be motivated. If he makes a mistake, he runs to the sideline and says, "Coach, I got you next time." He never makes the same mistake twice and can keep going. He said that he's one of the most humble kids he's been around, and he's coached a lot of NFL players, including Eric Berry. But he talked about Air's willingness to be great, called him a film junkie. And look, he texted him recently and said, "Hey, it's going to be hard, but we have enough talent to go win it again." So before he gets to Ohio State, this is a young man that has his sights set on winning another state championship. When you turn on the film, you see the 4,000 yards passing. You talked about the quick release. Is there anything else on there that excites you about that film, Andrew?
He can just pick people apart from the pocket. He can layer the football to all different levels of the field, and he has great anticipation, great pocket awareness. He likes to set up shop, but he's also athletic enough where if things break down, he can operate on the move, right? He can hit his marks, find his numbers. He brought up Jelani Thurman, his tight end from last season, who's now at Ohio State. I mean, he threw a bunch of touchdowns to him. So I think it's the total package. And Steve, I go back to a conversation I had with Air Noland back on February 1st. He was down here in Florida for a 7-on-7 tournament. He had a little interesting nugget. I guess I should have read more into it. He said, "I'm waiting on Ohio State." Well, they offered 2 months later. Look, now he's committed here on Easter weekend. It didn't take long. And I think this is just kind of a flex for the Buckeyes. Think about it. They at one point had Dylan Raiola committed, our top-ranked quarterback, had to, pivot, find another guy. And Air Noland for us right now, number 7 in the quarterback rankings. We'll see where he finishes, if he makes it into the Elite 11 finals or whatnot. But this is a guy that can distribute the football. He can be a point guard on offense for Ohio State. And again, I think he's in between the ears is everything that checks the boxes. He knows what Ohio State already has there. Devin Brown, Kyle McCord, Lincoln Kineholz. He's not afraid of competition. So this is a guy that's going to be, I think, a fan favorite, and he's going to elevate all those people around him in the locker room.
Yep, joins a class that ranks number 4 nationally. Jeremiah Smith, the jewel of that hall. Mylan Graham, the other 5-star in the mix right now. And they're in for several blue chippers moving forward. You know, the 247 Sports crystal ball is favoring them for top 247 wide receiver Jeremiah McClellan. Top 247 linebacker Peyton Pierce is starting to trend their way. They're trying to battle Georgia, among others, for KJ Bolden. They're certainly on the short list for a guy like 5-star receiver Micah Hudson. They're in it for Dylan Stewart and Justin Scott. They're finalists for 5-star linebacker Sammy Brown. They're going to get Charles Lester on campus. So a lot of big names still out there for them. Aaron Scott, Bryce West. What do you make of some of these guys that Ohio State's got a chance to finish off with, Andrew?
Well, we circle back to Jeremiah Smith, our number 2 ranked overall prospect. You know, this is a guy that's been committed to Ohio State since December. He's right here in my backyard, but he's taken some visits, right? He's toured some other places. I think Ohio State getting Air Noland it kind of further ensures that Jeremiah Smith wants to be there. I think Jeremiah Smith knows that the Buckeyes are always going to have a talented arm there, but Air Noland's a guy he's played 7-on-7 football with. He knows what that type of quarterback, what he can do. So that excites me. I think when you're listing it off, Steve, all those different things, it's just the collection of skill talent on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, if we were to play an NCAA video game here in the next 2 or 3 years, how could you not pick Ohio State if you want to score points? I mean, they are 5, 6, 7 deep in that wide receiver room. They got the tight end in Jelani Thurman. You brought up James Peoples. I think that was a massive addition for them after losing Mark Fletcher late last cycle. And then on the offensive line, they got the Armstrong twins earlier this or last week. I think those are good developmental takes up front. So a lot to like in this class. And like you noted, I mean, there's still a ton out there. I mean, Mylan Graham, to me, he's someone that is a little bit different than all those receivers that they brought in last year, and he's different than Jeremiah Smith. He's excellent after the catch. He's a long strider. So Brian Hartline getting it done, Ryan Day getting it done, and they should be able to score a ton of points in the Big Ten moving forward.
Sure. Well, thank you, Andrew. You were here watching Air Noland announce his commitment to Ohio State, and for more coverage on another big pickup for Ryan Day and the Buckeyes, head over to bucknuts.com. That's www.ohiostate.247sports.com. Please remember to hit like and subscribe on this video so you will know when the next big-time high school football prospect is going to announce his college decision. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you over on the 247 Sports website.